All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Friday before Thanksgiving. Hello, hello. I am really excited about today's topic. So we're going to talk about a couple things today, but my spotlight for the day is going to be the supplement pack that I think everybody should have for 2020. And so I'm not going to say the C virus word too much because of everything going on. I don't want this video to be blocked, but yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today is some things that I feel like personally everybody should have in their medicine cabinet for the rest of this year and into the cooler months and spring of next year. So if you are watching live, would you mind just commenting below and letting me know? It looks like there's a little bit of a lag on my end. So can you see me and hear me? If you could let me know, I'd really appreciate that. I'm actually have my cell phone here so I can look at the comments on Facebook. So if you could just let me know if you can see this and hear this, that would be great. Okay, so I'm super pumped for that topic. We're also going to talk about food sensitivities. I had an email the other day that was really great, so I'm going to answer some questions and what to do when you are glutened. And yeah, that's going to be our topic today. So welcome to the Friday Welly Belly Talks, everyone. My name is Kylene Terhune. I am the founder of My Balanced Biome, and that is where I help women across the country who struggle with chronic digestive complaints get to the underlying cause of those long-term issues and feel better. So it's a really, really awesome job. I'm also the co-founder of Empower Her with my partner, Sophie, and we are launching that again in 2021. So if you are interested in working on your gut health or hormones, please stay tuned because the first round has been wildly successful. We have had amazing women in that group. We have seen amazing progress, and we're really, really, really excited to bring round 2 to you in January. So definitely stay tuned for that. All right. So one big announcement that I wanted to make, big announcement. Welly Belly Talks from now on are going to be over in my private Facebook group, Gut Love with Kylene. I will make sure to post a link below this video when we are done. So if you want to join me live on Fridays at 12:30 in the future, please make sure you are a member of that group. That's going to be a special focus of that group is to have these live videos in there, and the next 2 weeks are actually going to be really exciting. So I really hope you'll join. I really hope that you will invite people because it's not just going to be me talking. It's going to be next week, which is Black Friday. I'll probably do a spotlight on some of my Black Friday sales that are going on of some healthy brands or things that I enjoy that might be on sale. So I'll try to kind of do that next week. But the next week's topic, I am actually going to be interviewing Jackie, who is a personal trainer, and she's coming out with an online program and an app, which is like perfect timing, right, for December and January. So I thought I would share her programs with you, and so she's going to be interviewed next week. So again, if you want to check that out, please make sure to join us over in the Gut Love with Kylene group. And the second week, so December 4th, I believe it is, I will be interviewing Brendan Vermeer, another FDN, who focuses on one of his focuses that he loves to talk about is mental health. And if you are a human living in 2020, this is a topic that is becoming more and more and more important. And as an FDN, Brendan knows how important it is to support our bodies in order to support our brains. And so we're going to talk about all of 2020 and, you know, how the holidays and how just everything that's going on with the lockdowns and, you know, having to be isolated from people and everything has to be online and all these different things, how they are affecting our mental health, what we can do about it, how we can support our bodies. So I do hope that you will join us for that. Again, these are going to be over in the Gut Love with Kylene. So Welly Belly Talks from now on will be over there. Please share and join and invite people because these are going to be killer talks at the end of 2020. Alrighty, that's what I have to start with. So today for the spotlight, like I said, we're going to talk about the supplement pack that I believe that everybody should have. So if you are watching this live or on the replay, I have to put a disclaimer out. These are not, I'm not your doctor. I'm not recommending specific things for you as an individual. These are generalized recommendations based on some research that I'm going to share with you that can be helpful for colds, flus, viruses. And I felt like this would be a good topic because as we are going back into the colder months, things are getting cold again. What are we seeing? We're seeing the cases rise. It's not a surprise, right? That happens every single year with any virus, any sickness, any cold, any flu that we have. It follows that pattern. And so it's to be expected. But obviously this year we're much, much, much more conscientious about it. We're much more aware of it. We're paying attention to it. There's a lot of fear and anxiety around this. And so I thought this would be a good time to talk about the supplements that I think would be very supportive for people for this particular situation. So I hope that this is helpful for you. So let's start with there. So again, disclaimer, not a doctor. Talk to your doctor if you have questions about this stuff. Do not act like I am your practitioner. And there we have it said. Okay. All right. So let's start with some of the ones that might be a little more common. And I apologize if I shift around a little bit. I'm actually going to be reading some things from some journals and studies that have come out on these topics. So if you want me to share some of that information below, like the links to those, just let me know. I'm happy to do that. But let's start with a common one that people are getting more and more familiar with, and they are associating more and more with this virus and our health and prevention and cold and flu season, that sort of thing. That is vitamin D. So vitamin D is number one. I just did a whole series of posts about vitamin D, the importance of vitamin D, and how you know what your blood levels should be, how to get them checked, how to choose supplementation. So if you do have questions about that, please let me, please check out those posts and they will answer a lot of your questions. But vitamin D, in terms of the virus that shall not be named, is very important. And we're finding this out more and more and more. So there was a study done by the Royal College of Physicians in July, and I'm just going to read this little section for you here. The severity of the virus, I'm just going to say that because, again, I don't want to get censored. There's so much censorship going on if you're talking about supplements and the virus and all this kind of stuff. So if I say the virus, y'all know what I'm talking about. The severity of the virus infection is determined by the presence of pneumonia, severe acute respiratory distress syndrome, myocarditis, microvascular thrombosis, or cytokine storms, all of which involve underlying inflammation. A principal defense against uncontrolled inflammation and against viral infection in general is provided by T regulatory lymphocytes. T-reg levels have been reported to be low in many of the virus patients and can be increased by vitamin D supplementation. Low vitamin D levels have been associated with an increase in inflammatory cytokines and a significantly increased risk of pneumonia and viral upper respiratory tract infections. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with an increase deficiency is associated with an increase in thrombotic episodes, which is like blood clots and things like that, which are frequently observed in the current virus. Okay? So basically what it's saying is there is a lot of these inflammatory responses that can happen in the body that you are more likely to have if you're vitamin D deficient. And in fact, a study from October of this year, 2020, has found that over 80% of the virus patients have vitamin D deficiency. So there is a lot of correlation going around this year. It's very easy to check to see if you are deficient, if you're in a healthy range, if you need to supplement to get your body up. And it's a very, very affordable thing. And that's the thing. There are a lot of antiviral compounds. There are a lot of different things that you could try. However, the things that I'm mentioning today are very affordable, they're very safe, and they're easy access things that everybody can like go to the store and get. So Yes, there's a lot of other stuff. There's medicinal mushrooms. There's this, there's that. There's this immune combo here and this pack here and this antiviral here. But what we're talking about is something that is like tried and true and everybody has access to and it's super affordable. So that's kind of what we're going with today. So number one is vitamin D. We are becoming more and more and more aware of how low vitamin D's make you low vitamin D levels make you more susceptible to a plethora of things, including more symptomology in the current situation if you get the current virus. And so we want to make sure that our levels are up. So that's the number one thing that I believe everybody should have. Now, vitamin D is one of those things where you are going to want to do this daily over a period of time. You want to monitor your levels, not necessarily something that you just take, oh, I'm getting sick, I'm going to take a lot now. That's more of a continuation, keep your levels up type thing. Okay. Number two is another super common one that we associate with, oh, I'm getting sick. Let me take this supplement, and that is vitamin C. So C19 patients, or the virus patients, had elevated levels of interleukin-6, which is an inflammatory marker that you can find in blood work, and endothelin-1. And vitamin C in high doses can reduce these levels. Okay, so high dose vitamin C. So vitamin C, and you can get this from a study. The title is Vitamin C as, well, I'm not going to read it because it has the word in it, but vitamin C as a prophylaxis and adjunctive medical treatment for C19. So again, if you want me to post these, I can. I'm happy to share them with you, but this was from a study, Elsevier Public Health Emergency Collection, July 2020. And so what it's saying is in the more severe cases when people are getting sick, they are expressing these higher levels of inflammatory reactions, and that vitamin C can help reduce those inflammatory cascades, so to speak. And so there's two ways that you can sort of think about this. Daily vitamin C supplementation. So I like to use a sodium ascorbate powder because sodium ascorbate is more gentle on your digestive system if you're taking higher doses. And by higher doses, I mean a couple grams. So a lot of times with supplements, you'll see like 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams, and they say just take that. But if you're trying to prevent, or you're trying to control, or you're trying to reduce symptoms, things like that, you may want a little bit of a higher dose. I take at least 4 grams a day. I'll do a scoop of Vitality C, which is the current brand that I'm using, and I'll mix it with water, and 1 scoop is 4 grams, and sometimes I'll do that twice a day. So you can take higher doses like that with supplements, or what it is saying is, it says vitamin C is cheap and safe, which again, those are what I'm sharing today, which is awesome. And using a relatively low dose of vitamin C as prophylaxis, so like prevention, and in cases of severe C19 or the virus, an intravenous high dose may be beneficial. And so you can get vitamin C IVs, which I have done regularly, and you can get very, very high doses. When you do intravenously, you're getting 20, 25, 30, 35, 50 grams per IV. And so that can be really, really helpful if maybe some things are already latching on. But, if it's going to be helpful in the midst, it's going to be helpful as a preventative as well, and supporting your immune system and lowering that inflammation and all those amazing things. So vitamin D, vitamin C. And again, so if you're doing this as like a prevention supplement pack in 2020, just, keep them at those lower doses, things that you can do at home every single day to keep your immune system healthy. These can be really helpful. Okay, so far I'm talking about ones that you're really familiar with. I have 2 more. Zinc. Okay, so zinc is also one that you're a little more familiar with, but I kind of wanted to talk about why zinc is beneficial. So zinc protects tissue barriers like respiratory epithelium. So respiratory epithelium is basically the cell lining of your respiratory tract. So if you've been following, as people get sick with the virus and as it progresses, what happens is it turns into a respiratory problem, and that's why people are having lung issues, and it's becoming a really big issue if the symptoms start to compound and it really latches onto their body. And so zinc can protect those tissues and participate in supporting these types of reactions. It, of course, also supports the immune system. So a lot of things like zinc and magnesium, these are things that your body runs on a specific set of nutrients every day, right? Like it has a base level line that everybody needs to function optimally, right? Well, when you get sick or when you get stressed, your body starts pulling from these nutrient stores and it needs more. And that's a lot of times because things like magnesium and zinc are used in a lot of different chemical reactions in the body. And so when we start needing these reactions, then we need more of these nutrients. And so zinc is one of those things that you will find in so many of the cold and flu supplements, and that you hear, as soon as you start feeling sick, go ahead and take zinc because it's going to help shorten the duration of your cold and all these different things. And it's because it participates in all these different reactions and helps other things, what's in a mix in a supplement helps these other things work to support your body. A couple other interesting facts about zinc is that a deficiency of zinc is a factor in predisposing susceptibility and progression of the virus. So there's the potential there that a zinc deficiency can kind of make things worse with everything that's going on. So we want to make sure that we are not deficient, obviously. It also has antiviral properties. Interestingly enough, one of the most seemingly annoying, two of the really annoying side effects that you hear about are loss of taste and smell. Yeah, I said that right. Loss of taste and smell, and fatigue is a huge one. And interestingly enough, with zinc, some zinc deficiency side effects are loss of taste and smell and fatigue. So definitely important to think about that. So if you're thinking about, again, there's different ways. If you're thinking about your prevention packet, right, your immune support packet that you're doing daily, then something like having a multivitamin or a really, really low dose may be supportive to you. If you start feeling sick, though, you may want to take a lozenge or something that's a little bit heavier. So I wanted to share what Ben Greenfield says in Boundless, because he does an extraordinary amount of research on these types of things. And so he talks about zinc in this one section. I wanted to share his perspective in case it might be helpful to you. So he says that you want to make sure that you're consuming the right type of high-dose zinc lozenge. So make sure it doesn't contain any additives that would prevent proper dissolution ionization. He also avoids suggesting lozenges that contain citric acid, as that can bind tightly to zinc ions and prevent it from working properly. So what he recommends is looking for a zinc lozenge that contains zinc acetate, which is twice as effective as zinc gluconate. And so effervescent lozenges that he recommends is by a brand called Life Extension. And the recommendation there is that you keep these on hand, and they're a little bit of a higher dose lozenge in that type that he finds to be most effective. And that's what you would keep on hand. If you start feeling sick, you immediately start taking these lozenges to support your body in that way. Okay, so we have vitamin D, we have vitamin C, we have zinc, and the last one that is probably what I would think is the least recognized, or maybe you haven't heard about it in terms of everything that's going on, is NAC. And I really think the combination of these four things is it's going to be so great for you to have on hand. So in a study in June from the Future Microbiology journal, it talks about the benefits of NAC for potential treatment for C19. And there are a couple reasons that it thinks it can be very helpful. And one of them is that it clears mucus. Another is that it acts as a potent antioxidant. And of course, NAC is the precursor for glutathione, which is your body's primary antioxidant. So that makes sense. And again, the virus causes damage to those epithelial cells in the lungs. And what happens as it progresses is that it manifests in lower levels of glutathione and increased levels of oxidative stress due to the release of reactive oxygen species. And so NAC, N-acetylcysteine, inhibits this process because it's going to help increase glutathione and lower oxidative stress. Okay, so NAC is that It's that power punch that I think is very supportive, and not a lot of people are going to know about that one. But if you can have sort of this combo pack of vitamin C, vitamin D that you're taking daily, NAC you could take daily as well, or you could take like, let's say 600 milligrams a day regularly as like a preventative, and then double or triple that if you start to feel funny for a little while. Same thing with zinc. Maybe you have it in a multivitamin, and then you have those lozenges on hand if you start feeling sick. And this combo pack is really going to support your body in a powerful way. So those are my best recommendations for your personal supplement pack in 2020 as we wrap up this year and the virus begins to increase and proliferate more. And one thing I just kind of want to throw in here, guys, and I think we all intrinsically know this, but it's not getting talked about. And I don't know, I may or may not catch flack for saying this. I hope not. I think most of the people that follow me probably agree with this, but listen, the thing that we're not talking about here is the epidemic underneath the epidemic, and that is that we are a nation of walking sick people. And so we have to remember that makes the potential for this so much worse in terms of us reacting really, really poorly to it is having pre-existing conditions, which is what? It's inflammation, because we have all this stuff going on. And so people have heart disease or diabetes or obesity or whatever. And so I can't stress enough, yeah, you can take all these supplements, and this is a great idea. Like I said, I would recommend everybody in 2020 having this as support. But the best thing we can do long-term every single day is work on lowering our inflammation, eating a healthy diet, and supporting our bodies powerfully in order to address the underlying issue, which is that we are overall a very sick nation. And so we've got to kind of acknowledge that in order to move forward and focus on building our immune systems and supporting our bodies as a whole. And we can't just say, oh, I'm going to throw a supplement at it. We've got to live healthy lifestyles. We've got to eat healthy food. This has got to be a lifelong thing in order to support your body, not just like a 10-day supplement pack. Okay, that's my TED Talk about supporting your bodies and living a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so I hope that was supportive. That took a lot longer than I expected. So let me jump into the next topic really quickly, which is food sensitivities and what to do when you get glutened. All right, so how do food sensitivities occur? All right, so you eat certain foods and you have this lining of cells in your gut that acts as a physical barrier from stuff that we don't want, chemicals, toxins, food particles, getting into our bloodstream. So this is a very intelligent process. The cells are connected by protein links called tight junctions, which open and close at certain points. This is important. We want them to be able to do that. We want certain things in. We want to keep other things out, okay? So food sensitivities can happen for a variety of reasons. They can happen because of the food itself is causing these tight junctions to open. The food is inflammatory. It stimulates an immune system response, all of these things. Or if you have a lot of imbalance in your gut, a lot of inflammation already going on, a lot of food sensitivities that you're eating daily and all this kind of stuff, and this is sort of like this process that is like chronic inflammation going on, imbalance in your gut microbiome, all these different things that can contribute to other food sensitivities that may not be long-term food sensitivities, but they're sort of getting caught up in this cascade of inflammation and this systemic response, okay? So just as an example, let's say that you have a major gluten sensitivity, you eat it every day you have it with peanut butter and bananas, you do a food sensitivity report, wheat, peanut butter, and bananas are all on the list. Well, once you heal the gut and eliminate the real problem, which might for you be wheat, then the bananas and the peanut butter might fall off that list as the healing occurs because they weren't really the trigger. They just got caught up in the problem. I know it's a really quick way to explain it, but I hope that was sort of helpful. So I got an email the other day talking about gluten exposure and can it suddenly turn from an intolerance to an allergy, or can your symptoms get worse? And that's a little bit of a complicated question, but in some instances, yeah. So one of the things that happens when we eliminate a food, and I talked about this before, is that you give your body the chance to heal. So the inflammation goes down, your immune system starts to regulate. You basically have more reserves, and your body starts having more of the ability to respond to things in a more dramatic way. So if you think about it like, microdosing a poison or a toxin, it's not good for you. Your body doesn't like it. It wishes it wasn't there. There's no real benefit to doing that. But what your body does is it learns how to minimize the reaction to that microdose, right? So it doesn't mean that your body thinks this is all of a sudden a good thing and it's not telling you. It just learns how to survive. So your body can sort of do that with food sensitivities too. When it's chronically exposed, your reactions can actually be fairly low, which is why a lot of people don't know that they have food sensitivities in the first place, because they're like, oh, I eat this, I don't have an immediate reaction. Or because food sensitivities can show up immediately or up to 3 days later, sometimes they don't understand that the headache they have 2 days later, or the breakout that they have 3 days later, or the fatigue dip they have on Monday is actually due to the foods they ate, on Friday or whatever it is. And so these kind of low grade, and because they can take longer to show up, all these kinds of things, we don't always associate. However, when we pull the trigger out and we give our body the ability to heal and we let our immune system self-regulate, then it basically has more a space in the bucket, so to speak, to react in a strong way when you choose to reintroduce something. So let's say you have a significant inflammatory response to gluten, you remove it for 60 days, you bring it back in, all of a sudden you have a more dramatic response to it than you've ever had before. This is normal, this is natural. This is your body now having freedom and flexibility to say, hey, I don't like this, you haven't been giving it to me, I'm happy about that, please don't bring it back in. And so we can feel like, oh, well, I should have just left it in so that I can have less reactions to it, because this reaction is super annoying. Or what I prefer is to view it in a way where we say, whoa, okay, my body really doesn't like this. And I realize that, man, I must have been like giving myself something my body didn't like, because I was creating this chronic low-grade inflammation. And that's important because chronic low-grade inflammation is underlying all of these diseases, okay? And so, yeah, it's annoying that when we reintroduce it or get exposed to it, we might have a more dramatic response, but that doesn't mean that you should have never taken it out. It just means that now your body has the freedom to tell you it doesn't like this, and we need to listen to that, okay? So let's talk about what to do. You've eliminated gluten and you find that you're highly sensitive to it. Then what we need to do is be careful about our exposure so that we don't have these dramatic reactions that impact. So first of all, we want to do a lot of gut healing. So that includes eating a low inflammatory diet. So lots of whole foods, omega-3s to calm inflammation, avoiding major triggers that we are aware of, or maybe looking into what those might be. So that's sort of like the general approach. You can also include things that are very nourishing and healing, like bone broth. And then from there, what you want to do is just be careful if you go out to eat, obviously ordering gluten-free, but there's always the potential for cross-contamination. And so this is where we can support our bodies if we find that we're really sensitive to something. So I'm just going to share sort of my I got glutened approach. So hopefully it can help some of you. Okay, so the first thing is a binder. And this is if you get exposed and you're somebody who really has like a bloated reaction, okay? And if that's the case, then something like GI Detox, Biotoxin Binder, Activated Charcoal, something like that can be really helpful. Binders capture things, they help flush them out of your system. So if you tend to have a bloated reaction, get really bloated and gassy and that sort of thing, then a binder may be supportive to you in terms of that physical response. Now, again, what I'm telling you here is not to excuse intentional exposure. It is to help you not feel miserable with accidental exposure, okay? I don't really think that intentionally having something that we know causes inflammation in our bodies is ever a great idea, at least when it's on this type of a level. So I'm just trying to give you things to help you not feel totally miserable if you do get exposed. So a binder is one if you have that type of reaction. The two that I would say are probably, the 2-4 combo that can be really supportive anytime is Mega IgG 2000 and Glutenese. Okay, so let me explain these. Glutenese is an enzyme, some enzymes, a combination of enzymes that helps you break down gluten so that you're not going to have these dramatic digestive responses to it. So like my stomach might hurt after I get exposed. And so I am very careful. Typically, if I go out to eat or I'm not sure, I will take a Glutenese just to be safe, even though I order gluten-free. So if you tend to be somebody that's highly sensitive or reactive, and maybe you've gotten a test that says your anti-gliadin levels are high and immune system response to gluten, then something like this could be very, very helpful in terms of accidental exposure and how you feel afterwards. So I recommend to people that are sensitive that anytime they eat away from the house, that they're not preparing the food, they're eating out, they take a Glutenese enzyme. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Keep it in your purse. The other thing that can be really supportive, and this is more for your immune response and sort of controlling the damage, so to speak, keeping it as minimal as possible, is Mega IgG 2000. This is immunoglobulins, okay? So this is actually what we think of as part of our immune system. Immunoglobulins are part of the immune system that help capture toxins and flush them out. They help heal the gut lining and calm inflammation. And so it's really great for, again, sort of minimizing the damage and keeping it under control and helping your body's response to this exposure. So I would come home and maybe take a handful of these if you feel like you got glutened. And if any of you are familiar with, and by the way, these are bovine immunoglobulins. They just happen to work in our body very, very similarly. And so this has IgG, IgM, and IgA, in case any of you were wondering. But that can be a really, 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 really helpful two-pack combo in case you get glutened. And then if you experience bloating and gas after that, maybe take a GI detox or activated charcoal, something of that nature. And you'll feel so much better. By the way, these are very, very similar to the anti-hangover pack as well. So just in case you're wondering what to do if you ever want to have a cocktail and not feel it the next day, very, very similar approach there. All right, guys, so I talked about the 2020 pack of supplements that everybody needs to have. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have questions below. If this was helpful, please share it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Drop them below. I'm happy to interact with you guys. I love to support you in the areas that you need supported. So as we wrap up, just a reminder, Welly Belly Talks Friday, 12:30 EST from now on are going to be in my private Facebook group, Gut Love with Kylene. So please make sure you're a member there. Invite your friends. We're going to have 2 interviews coming up with amazing individuals and practitioners. One's going to be about movement through the holiday season and exercise and all these fun things. And then the next one is going to be about mental health. So I cannot wait to talk about those with the experts. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. I don't think so. So guys, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. The next time I will pop on here is going to be Good Friday in the group. So make sure you join. And yeah, if you guys need anything, just drop a comment below, but let me know that you are here. Say hello, say replay if you're watching a replay, and I will talk to you soon. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.